In the immortal words of Vincent van Gogh, as approximated by Shane Madej, suicide is wrong. I do not understand it. It'd be pretty baller to drown. Sup y'all, welcome to channel Zarovsky. I am your curator, Zarovsky Crystal, and speaking of curating, everything is done! I decided on a show title, I designed my own posters, invites, everything, got the Facebook event banner up, the Woiks. And I called my first solo exhibition the November Mirror, Retrospection, Introspection. I just had the opening night last 9th. The show's supposed to end the 22nd, but the gallery extended till the 30th. Thank you, Galeria de las Islas. Very cool. Holy fuck, I actually sold shit! Let's get to the specs. Oh, wait. Preface, feel free to mute me if you want your own soundtrack as compared to the commentary. Let's get to the specs. Self-Sabotage is a poster paint piece on 14-inch by 15.5-inch Nielsen Bainbridge illustration board. It depicts a woman submerged underwater, but her face and gas mask are above the surface. Not fully submerged, as she isn't dead yet. But she's in the process of killing oneself. She's only about to die via self-inflicted asphyxiation. Ripples surround her as she suffocates herself by strangling the air tube of her device. The water surrounding her comes from her tears. That main visual is inspired by the poster for the Evil Within DLC, The Consequence. You know, where Julie Kidman's there in the STEM chemical? STEMical? Y'all want minimal combat, sneaky, spoopy horror. Y'all get the DLCs, The Assignment and The Consequence. I omitted some of the elements from the idea doodle. Lightning bolts, cyborg features, bubbles, makeup to not only save time but to make the image more focused. Notes about the process. Okay, poster paint is pretty much opaque, but having a white, damp base for me, it was easier to blend. The grays would still push through, and for some reason this made it easier to blend. I know where I've been, I know where I'm going. There are some brands or mixtures of poster paints where, like acrylic, when it dries for good. But now the white underpainting for the skin gets reactivated when touched with water. I could blend again. If it weren't for that, I'd probably have to redo the face, burning time I don't have since real life doesn't have Control plus C. I did have to redo the mask though because it clashed. IMO, it wasn't a good look, that musty celadon green, but I swapped it for the deeper emerald shade. The respirator filters were supposed to be gray to match the celadon, but I changed them to bronze. Palette looks pretty cohesive, maybe much better than its spiritual predecessor, Dissolve aka the Hanged Woman. Yep, Self-Sabotage can be considered as a continuation of Dissolve, which is also this pseudo self-portrait based on strong emotions, same medium, same surface, except this one's about suicide. Okay, context. I've always wanted to die since my first line of 7 in grades. Probably. Could be younger, I don't know. Anyway, various reasons. Of course, if I had the guts to off myself, I wouldn't be sitting here discussing it with you now, would I? Classic Davish. Don't worry, I'll sell enough paintings and get therapy. Eventually. Anyway, back with wanting to die. Drowning is probably one of the worst ways to go. If I had to choose how to die, it most definitely will not be drowning. It'll be death by snoo snoo by Pillarman. Char! Oh, ow. Oh, sounds like crushed pelvises. Ow. However, when it comes to life-taking imagery in my poems and fantasies, water is often involved. Not always, but often. Like sinking down into the tub or sea never to resurface by will of one's own, walking into the ocean and just letting it swallow you, enveloping everything, as if the peace in the depths is the answer to the war in your mind and soul. But in these fantasies, you never consider how balls to the wall frigid it could be. God, I hate the cold. I hate the cold. It's like -3 degrees Celsius under there. Or the fact that your corpse will be food for the sea worms and scavengers and bottom feeders. Honestly, that doesn't sound so bad. Wonder if it's what Osama bin Laden's been doing all these years. Ah, God, I love writing these scripts down. Script writing's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Local terrorist veteran redeems himself by becoming shrimp feed. New eco-friendly disposal in collaboration with SEAL Team 6. More at 9. Also, lol, I was actually crying at some point while painting this. Pretty pathetic, huh? Like, I just got into an argument with my parents because of course, and because I'm a selfish ditz. Duh. Stupid Zari. Stupid, neglectful Zari. God, what kind of moron forgets their chores or the fact we haven't had a maid in almost a year? But as I was crying as I was painting, because duh, of course you have to work because you're not paid to cry, you're not an actress, and time won't stop for your pathetic whiny bitching, the painting became more of a mirror than it already is. Like, holy fuck, yes! One day I'll do a video essay on suffering in creation. TLDR, spoiler alert, is pain necessary for creation? No, not always. More on that whenever. Speaking of being a forgetful dumb bitch, I actually forgot a lock of hair and didn't notice till I was reworking the wash. Painted that right up. And speaking of being a forgetful dumb bitch, on the worst days I'll probably not remember these, so I'll try to commit them to memory, as best I can. But God, there are so many moments where I'm glad I haven't taken my life. Anyway, shall we clumsily segue into the vlog? Okay, so I'm glad I finally decided on a title for the exhibit. It was the crunchiest of crunch times, my dudes. It reminds me of the night I had to finish a painting called Phase Mark for a contest deadline the next morning. At the same time, my family had to scramble for funerary preparations for my aunt who just died the same evening. That's a story for another time. And speaking of dead family members and bad scheduling, there was literally no time to grieve. November 1 and 2, everybody's out with their living fam, visiting their dead fam, while I'm at home painting and stressing away. I guess I'll just visit Gramps and the others some other day. Y'all want to talk interruptions though? I had to stop when my brother brought up his dinner. I had like 2 cups of coffee and whatever he was about to eat, some Chinese takeout or whatever. It was making me gag. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Went to watch Harry Potter on the telly. And before Self-sabotage, I was working on another painting called Bruja del Sol, but had to pause Bruja del Sol for Self-sabotage and had to pause Self-sabotage for poster and invite layout. Why? Bruja del Sol didn't need to be framed. Self-sabotage did, along with many others. At the same time, the Galeria de las Islas needed my paperwork, artist statements, exhibit statements, posters, etc. I had to make the layout myself, and I am happy how it turned out because when it came to design in college, I sucked at it. I sucked at infographics, I sucked at choosing typefaces, I thought I was no good. But here I made 3 posters all on my own, 2 of which had some of my JoJo fan art. And that's another thing. I had to scrap many of the planned pieces and compensate with older ones that still carried the emotional weight. The bummer side is the paintings containing my lover and best friend, 2 separate people by the by, aren't there in the show. I know there's a next time and consignments are still a thing, but still, it kinda sucks. But at least I have the perspective of advertising for upcoming shows. What better way to say, there's a million things I haven't done. Just you wait. And just y'all wait once I get new designs for my Redbubble link below. I hope to update it soon with new designs sitting in the back burner of my mind and notebooks. Meanwhile, y'all can view all of my art, my poetry, my rambling on DeviantArt behind Twitter, links below or here on the channel itself. The November Mirror Retrospection Introspection at Galeria de las Islas Intramuros will run till the 30th. Link below, details in Facebook. This has been Zarovsky Crystal of Channel Zarovsky. Subscribe to get crystallized and ciao for now.